Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. Ask Kelley Blue Book. They named Honda their 2021 Best Value brand.
Based on 2021 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. Ask Kelley Blue Book. They named Honda their 2021 Best Value brand.
Based on 2021 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
For 40 years, Michael Myers has haunted this town. He is the essence of evil, and evil dies tonight.
We're gonna hunt him down and we're gonna put an end to this.
I want to take his mask off and see the life leave his eyes. Happy Halloween, Michael.
Halloween Kills, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent, in theaters and streaming only on Peacock now.
Let's do it. Hey everybody, JR here. We are back after quite a long respite. Glad to be back. A couple of the beer nuts. We got Dugout here with us and Chris. And all I can say is life gets in the way sometimes. It's been a while since we've done an episode, but things are settling down for all three of us. We've all three had some job career changes, exciting ones, and a couple of us are even selling beer now. So it's great news, but glad to be back. So I'm going to turn it over. Introduce Dugout. Welcome back, Doug.
All right. Well, thanks. This is Dugout in Michigan. And let's see. My last Untapped check-in was a 2012 Imperial Stout from Founders. One of my friends was doing, well, there was a homebrew share on Monday night at Cadillac Straits, which is our local homebrew supply store. Shout out to those guys because they're awesome, and they got a nice brewery on the side of it. But they have a once a month on Monday night, they open it up to home brewers, and people can bring their beers and share. And so, yeah, that's somebody brought those in to share, and I'm like, 2012, I had a breakfast stout and an Imperial Stout from Founders. Imperial Stout didn't hold up as well, but it's 2012. Geez, it's almost 10 years old. But the breakfast stout amazingly held up. It still had some coffee, had some great flavor, no carbonation on either. So, yeah, that's it.
Awesome, and welcome back, Chris.
Yeah, Chris here in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Since last we've met, I am saddened to report to you that I have tried a hard seltzer. It was any port in a storm situation, and yeah, they are just as horrible as I thought they were going to be. Now, I understand the appeal because it's very light. I understand that, but yeah, it tastes just like chemicals. So, but yeah, as far as what I've been drinking, I was telling JR, I've gotten into the hard coffees, and I wish they tasted like coffee.
And I just got out of the hard coffee. I used to sell Rebel hard coffee. And we actually had a cold brew that was coffee forward that we discontinued. But I'm happy to report I'm no longer selling hard coffee. I'm back into the beer business with my favorite craft brewery here in Arizona, Tombstone. So excited to be their sales manager, and we'll try to be unbiased and stay away from Tombstone beers because I will be biased, but hey, it's our show and we'll do what we want. If I have a really good beer, I might share it with you.
Hey, he enjoyed being on the show so much he gave you a job.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking a long time, and I'm really excited. It's great to be selling a great we have great brewers and great beers to sell, and it makes it a lot more fun to go to work every day. And I'm stoked. So that's part of the reason we haven't done a show in a while. I think all three of us have taken on some new career responsibilities. So before I invite everybody to join us in a beer, again, JR here from just outside of Tucson, Vail, Arizona. My last Untappd check-in was a beer that was very interesting. It was called Hatch Chili Gatos from Fate Brewing Company in Arizona. It's a chili beer. It was a nice, light, easy to drinker with a nice little bit of a chili burn to it. I enjoyed it. But I also wanted to mention, again, a shameless plug. We just had a very limited batch of 3-year-old barley wine from Tombstone called Old Contention, aged in Heaven Hill barrels for 3 years. Less than 200 cans produced and a couple of kegs. So it's very limited, but I did get to taste some at the brewery the other day, and oh my gosh, that was fantastic. So there's my shameless plug. I will be sure and drink some other breweries' beers for now. But again, I just, we're a little bit out of sorts here. It's been a long time, probably a couple of months since we've done an episode. So great to be back with our fellow beer nuts, and just want to invite everybody, as we always do, to please join us in a beer. Whatever you enjoy is fine with us, whether it's Coors Light, a chili beer, a barrel-aged barley wine, or whatever floats your boat. We're all about, we're not a bunch of pretentious beer snobs. We're all about just introducing more good people to more good beer. So that being said, let's have a beer. Who wants to kick it off?
Hey, I'll go first.
All right, Chris, you're up.
Well, let's bring it up. I'm into the hard coffees, and I saw a beer today that I just had to grab. It is a show favorite. It's from Deschutes. It's called Luna Joe. It's a cold brew coffee lager. Now, the reason I grabbed this is because when I used to go to Portland for work, I used to get, every time I flew out, they had Rogue on tap. They had a Rogue Public House at PDX, and they had on tap a cold brew, and I don't remember if it was a lager or a stout or a porter, but I just remember it was on tap, and every time I had a 6 a.m. flight, I would get one, and it was like the perfect balance between coffee and it was perfect breakfast beer. Like I gotta ordered some pancakes or some sauce or whatever and drank it. So I picked this up squarely based on, okay, it's from the same state. It's made by a brewery with just as reputable a reputation. So yeah, let's try this out and see. I have had none of this beer until this point. So poured some while we were talking. Nice, thick, looks like a creamy brown head. Color is, this is brown. I mean, this is not copper. This is brown. And you can see through it, too. There is light coming through this, but not completely. Like, it's not, like, it's translucent, right? It's not transparent. Definitely getting coffee on the nose. And yeah, coffee. You're getting the sweetness from the malt. I mean, yeah, I got high hopes for this thing before I even taste it. So let's taste it. Oh wow, yeah, they're going after Rogue with this one because this wow. Hold on. It is a smooth mouthfeel. Coffee up front, coffee in back, little bit of hops right at the end, right when it's going over the back of the palate. I mean, if you like coffee, get this beer. I mean, we've talked about a lot over the years. Coffee fades. I'm trying to see if there's maybe perhaps a date on this beer. Oh yeah, packaged on. Well, we're to the point in life for any of my glasses, kids. But it looks like this was packaged a couple weeks ago. Actually, it looks like on October 2nd. So
wow.
Yeah. Well, it says on the bottle, freshest within 4 months. So yeah, I mean, they're definite. It's a limited release too, from Deschutes, Luna Joe Cold Brew Coffee Lager, 25 IBU, 5% ABV. But man, I'm reading from the bottle, it says cool air, warm embers, bright ideas come together with this experimental dark lager that's rooted in tradition yet infused with Riff Cold Brew coffee and the boldness to go beyond. I mean, either way, I mean, if you like coffee, if you like beer, drink this beer. I mean, it's as far as Deschutes goes. I don't think I've ever had a beer from Deschutes. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Like every Deschutes beer I've ever had is delicious, and this just continues. This just keeps upholding that tradition.
So it's a dark lager with some coffee in it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what it is delicious. I mean, again, it's this. I had a feeling it was kind of, especially since they're both from Oregon, that this was kind of meant to be a competitor for that Rogue offering. But yeah, I mean, this is a home run. I mean,
awesome.
The fact that I mean, right? You guys both know. You can taste fake coffee. Fake coffee just stands out. This is not fake coffee flavor. There is real coffee in this beer.
Yeah, and at 5%, it's crushable. I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm noticing, and maybe you guys can jump in, is I know we've always been big fans of the big hitters, and I still love my barrel-aged stouts, but I'm seeing a lot more people drinking sessionable beers these days, whether it's lagers, pilsners, or just stuff that's not really high ABV, like a 5 or 6%er. So that sounds like a really good sessionable beer that you can drink a few of. Any more comments? Dugout?
Oops. Yeah, it sounds delicious. But yeah, JR, I agree with you on some observations of high gravity beers, and you just don't see as many coming out, new ones anyways. It seems that the new things that come out are in that 5 to 6% range. And that's just to go with what people are buying right now.
Absolutely. And, I thought maybe it was because of the hot temperatures here in Arizona, but it's cooled off and lagers are still blowing out down here, for everybody. Lagers and pilsners making a comeback, but we did an Irish Red recently, and that sold through very quickly, and that was just a 5%, easy drinker. So I think, maybe the times are changing a bit. Regular IPAs seem to be outselling doubles and triples, whereas that wasn't always the case. But you know what? There's good beers of all styles and all strengths, and there might be something said to be having maybe a few more beers than one or two real strong ones.
But then again, I saw my Instagram feed today, and Shorts Brewery is putting out I think it's Super Huma Lupulicious. It's a triple version of Huma, and I believe it's in like the 12% range. And it's going in their holiday packs.
I want some.
Oh, man. So I get 3 of those, and then, in their 18 packs, I think. I don't know what they do now, but they're 12 packs, and you get 3 of the good ones, and then 9 of these things you can't even give away to somebody drunk at a party.
Well, that's pretty much Shorts. You get hits and misses with them. But you know what? I never would have thought I would have never thought it. I would have never thought that would be one brewery that I really miss having access to here. But even just hearing you talk about the regular Huma Lupa, which was an easy to get shelf turd back in Michigan. I wish I could get a 6-pack of that right now.
So yeah, so Michigan beers, right? And that's what I got. I got a Michigan beer, and what I have, you guys are gonna like this one, is it's 2016, so it's got the purple bowling ball. And
nice.
Yeah, it's a no rules Vietnamese porter by Perrin Brewing Company out of somewhere outside of Grand Rapids.
I got one sitting right in front of me with the orange bowling ball on it.
So yeah, this is a purple one, 2016. One of the things that with COVID and lockdown and all that stuff is I made a reassessment on what I save for my beer cellar and what goes in there and how long it stays, and before it gets put into some kind of rotation. And I came, and I'm thinking like, gosh, I've had this since 2016. It's not going to get any better than it is now. I mean, it's just going to go south at this point. So I chilled it maybe, I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago, just didn't get to it. And so when the opportunity came to do the show, I'm like, that's it. That's the one. It's my last no rules, but who cares? It's like you can't take this stuff with you. Well, you can if you like going to a party or something, but I mean, you know what I mean. But this beer is freaking awesome, man. For those that don't know, it is an Imperial Porter, and it's 15%. It's It's made with coconut, turbinado sugar, and then it's put into bourbon barrels for several months. So, and then there's other stuff they throw in here, but the main thing with this beer is how not only how well it survived, it's delicious, but the layers of chocolate are just so impressive, and the overall flavor of the beer, where the bourbon is mixing in with the chocolate, mixing in with the roast of the porter, it is just so outstanding. I'd be hard pressed to think the last beer I had that was this good. And this is all these years later, so I'm sure some time in the cellar helped it. I'm not tasting 15%. I know there's definitely some heft to it. You get a little bit of a burn, but not like, oh my God, I should stop drinking this because it's 15%, and I'm going to have to kill the bottle because I opened it, right?
Yep. I wish I was there to help you drink it.
Yeah, I do too. I wish I would have opened this with somebody, but sometimes you do what you have to do to get by, and and all for the sake of the show, I will finish this bottle of.
Well, thanks for taking one for the team. I was rooting through my cellar, and I still have quite a few beers that I brought here from Michigan, and I had to cherry pick the best of the best when I moved. I couldn't bring everything I wanted, but I don't know if you guys remember when I first moved here, I got a mystery box from a buddy in Holland, Michigan. Kevin R. Thank you, Kevin. Without any notice or anything, this box just showed up. Well, I shouldn't say that because I had to give him my address, but unprovoked, I didn't pay him anything. He sent me a box with an unbelievable box of Michigan beer, and it was every one of the variants from, I think it was 2019 was the year I moved. Every variant that they had. They have like a maple variant, and I think there's a chocolate variant. I don't remember all the different ones, but and when I was going through my cellar, I found a lot of those, and I was like, boy, I got to start drinking these up. And as I said, Doug, I'm looking right now. I have an Orange Ball one staring me in the face that I think that was one I bought. But then I have another one here with the star on it that was like the more recent version. And then I got like 4 or 5 of these variants still in my cellar. So, and I found a lot of other interesting Michigan beers. I'm kind of afraid to pop anything from Dark Horse open. But I gotta start. I'm not going to buy any of this barrel aged stuff. Now that I'm working for a brewery, I might, take advantage of stuff that we have, but I got to drink this cellar down. That's my goal now. I'm going to drink the cellar down and not buy a bunch of new stuff. I have way too many good barrel aged beers in the cellar, and I've made quite a few. I've probably dented 3 cases out of that in the last year, and I got like probably about 4.5 to go, and then I'll be through it all. But so it was cool that you were talking about your cellar, and I am going to move on to one of my cellar beers in a bit. Chris, you have any more comments on Doug's beer before I move into mine?
No, it's as usual. Doug's always got the beer that everyone wants to try, it sounds like.
No rules. Heron Brewing, know it well. And I know that Doug was saying, now that there's COVID, they used to do the go to the brewery and pick it up thing. And I think now it's all like online and
it's pre-order, and you still got to go there. And it's, even if you're in Grand Rapids, it's not conveniently located. And then you start to get into cost factors too. And then you actually have to think about what you used to just go there and do. It used to be you'd go and get in a line and everybody a bottle share in the line. So you'd be all jacked up by the time you got up there, and you buy as much as you could. And then you never looked at it, you didn't figure in the cost. And then now the stuff comes online. For example, like Dark Lord Day is online again this year, and you could just buy your packages. And I think the cheapest package is like $160. And that's not to mention the travel cost to Munster, Indiana, and there's no party. So that's a chunk of change, man.
Yeah, sure is.
I mean, I just don't think of buying beer in like those lots, And I should talk though. I mean, I stop at Transit, I've got no problem, but that's more like $100 or $120, and I'm like, oh, how did I do that? But to sit there and go, I'm going to dump 160 on 4 bottles, and then I got to go drive to Indiana to get it.
Well, and the big part of the big fun of Dark Lord Day, and full disclosure, I have never gone, but I've certainly heard enough stories. It's all
the debauchery.
Party.
Yeah, it's the debauchery.
Yeah, you wait, you drink all night, and there's people that pass out and don't even make it in, and then you go in and you get your bottles, and you come out with your variants, and there's people trying to buy them from you, and there's heavy metal.
They drink all day, and then they get to the line and get their bottles, and then they're so fucked up they just drop them on the ground and they bust, and everybody like kind of laughs at them.
Well, and we were talking some friends of mine the other day that the days of people waiting in line for beer are pretty much over. People just don't do that anymore, and that was common, 7-8 years ago. That's what we did, and part of it's COVID, but part of it's people just. I think there's a lot of great beer out there.
Yeah, well, part of it's that sucks.
It does suck. I'll never forget.
Wait, we stopped doing it for concert tickets, right? Why are we still doing it for beer?
Right.
I'll never forget waiting in line, getting there at 6 a.m. to go to Coonan one year, and by 8 a.m. they finally got the line moving, and then by 10 a.m. I was in the tent, and I'm like, oh great, I'm in the tent, I'll be able to get a beer. And they weren't even pouring beer to sell. So I had to wait another hour until I got to the front of the line. Then they had 4 different beers. You could get 1 draft of each. And then you go into the building and you get your case of beer, which was your allotment. And then the tap room was full, so fire code, you couldn't go in. And so you're sitting there, you got a case of beer, nowhere to go. You have to go back outside, and you got 4 drafts in your hand. Basically, I had to have other people hold stuff for me. It was just completely convoluted. But as anybody from the Detroit area will tell you, that's just Coonan being Coonan. But you surely can't argue with the quality of their beer. They make some fantastic stuff. As a matter of fact, I've got that on deck for the grand finale tonight. I got a 4D in my fridge that I'm just I can't wait. And I've got our brewer at Tombstone. I've told him all about 4D, and I'm bringing him a bottle tomorrow. He did me a favor, and I owe him a solid. But let me quit babbling about that and go into the beer that I'm going to first review for you. And it's a beer called Mango Nada from Dillinger Brewing Company here in Tucson, Arizona. It's a mango kettle sour with tajin, which is like a Mexican spice. I visited the brewery maybe a month or so ago, and when I went in, I asked them what their best-selling beer was, and they pointed to the cooler. There was cases and cases of this stuff, and so I said, pour me one, and then now I know why it's their biggest seller. It's really good. So let me just describe it for you. It pours. It almost looks like it's actually pretty clear. So, but it's got a yellowish orange tint to it. Looks really just like mango juice would look like. And it is a very tasty beer. So you can get that mango definitely on the nose. It just pungent citrus mango. And then take a sip, and it's a sour. It's a kettle sour, but it's more tart than sour. It doesn't pucker you up very much. It's just very fruity. It's like tart mango juice. It's not very carbonated. I guess you wouldn't really expect. There's no head at all on this. It almost looks like a glass of fruit juice, but the tartness is it's actually, again, I was so impressed. This was a trip that our homebrew club took. We rented a van and went to 6 combination of breweries and tap rooms. And the only thing I bought is a crowler of one beer at one place, and I bought this 4-pack of this mango beer. That's how much I enjoyed it. And as you all know, I'm not really that big on sours normally, but one thing that's happened to me is I'm a lot more open to all the new styles, and I have found some sours that don't really give me heartburn, and this is one of them. If they're too tart, they turn me off, but this is just perfect, and I can see why Dillinger Brewing, this is their best seller. So kudos to the brewers. Mango Nada from Dillinger in Tucson. So that's it for the beers, guys. I am going to pop open that 4D later, but Dugout, why don't you give us an update on your home brewing?
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. Ask Kelley Blue Book. They named Honda their 2021 Best Value brand.
Based on 2021 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
Fall is the season of gathering that brings us together with warmth and color. So whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or a special event, celebrate your friends and family with a gorgeous bouquet of roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to brighten someone's day with 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99. To get 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. Ask Kelley Blue Book. They named Honda their 2021 Best Value brand.
Based on 2021 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
All right, we're here with Nina, who is hosting a little Tuesday get-together.
And she has gone all out.
Yep, she's done the fancy charcuterie thing.
Look at those solid maple serving boards.
So classy.
And those gold rim side plates? Gorgeous.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And she got it all at Marshall's for way less.
Even the cheese?
No, not the cheese, but that to die for sequin top.
Marshall's?
Yep, Marshall's. Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.
ChristopherMedia.net.
All right, so homebrew. Before the episode tonight, I was bottling up some beer. I've got an American Pale Ale / it's really more of a session IPA. Came in about 5.5%. It was supposed to be for a competition, but it took a lot longer to get ready than I anticipated. I missed the deadline, and it really wasn't that big of a deal because these were kind of small competitions. Okay, sorry, I cut out there. So yeah, I made this. I've got a pale ale that I bottled up. Trying to finish out the keg because I've got a New England IPA that's coming up that's ready, needs to go in the keg, and that was the odd man out. The other one I have is a blackberry saison. The blackberries were from my backyard, and I got a decent amount of them and cooked them down and strained them out, and man, they're intense. But the beer is very saison forward, and the blackberries just kind of sit in the background. It's about a 7.5%. This is the first beer I've ever carbonated in the keg on purpose, and so I added some conditioning drops to the keg because I knew it had to sit for another week, or actually about 2 weeks as the backup on my kegerator. So I let this sit out, and I put a picnic tap on it, and it just exploded. It was awesome. It just went boom, and all this like saison creamy foam was coming out, and I'm like, oh, I was so happy. Because those of you that know saison know it's just kind of a different beast, and that the bubbles tend to be more like champagne, and that's what I kind of wanted to sort of carbonate it in the keg instead of force carbonate it. So it had kind of those natural bubbles to it. I think I've done a pretty good job. This one's going to, there's a competition in Oklahoma, I believe, called the Foam Cup. And JR, you could probably still get in on that if you've got any bottles that are ready to roll. They were not full, and they're not past their due date on it. So, I can give you the info offline if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
Put something into it. I would do it. What the heck? The entry fees are cheap. They're like $8. So all you got to do is ship it there. And probably your shipping to Oklahoma is a lot less than my shipping to Oklahoma. So, yeah, I've got this Blackberry Saison. It is, I don't know. I just have the feeling it's one of the better beers that I've ever made. I don't know that I could call it my best, but it's, in my opinion, it's right up there. It probably gets smacked down hard by judges. I don't care, but I got that competition. There's one in Grand Rapids coming up called Siciliano's, and that's actually a national competition or a recognized competition. They've done that for a long time, and that's a fairly large one. So I'll look forward to having that. And the Pale Ale is going into the Foam Cup, which is the one in Oklahoma. And then I don't know if I ever mentioned it. I had gotten, a whole bunch of months ago, and this was during COVID, I brewed my first and only lager. And it won't be my last, that's for sure. But I brewed a Czech lager, and that took third place in the Michigan Beer Cup. And it actually scored really well. So
that's awesome.
That's the homebrew.
That's one of the tough styles to brew.
Yeah, and I just kind of, I don't know. I knew it was a little hoppier than it was supposed to be. And I did get called out by somebody who's probably the highest ranking judge in Southeast Michigan for it. And I'm like, damn it, why did he have to get my beer, I mean, I would just make some small tweaks to it. But, I definitely, my basement, the root cellar sits at like 50 degrees in the wintertime. It's perfect.
Yeah, my friend Michael Fry, who you was on our show when he was working for the meadery, is moving away and actually gave me his chest freezer a couple of months ago. And I got a Inkbird controller, so now I've got a fermentation chamber, which is absolutely mandatory here in Arizona, especially in my garage.
Yeah.
So even though it's cooling down now, I actually haven't brewed much in the last couple of months, just with so much going on with the job change and stuff. But now that the weather's cooler, it'll be a lot easier to brew. And I've already got my eye on my next brew. I'm really toying with the idea of either doing a lager, the Czech, and I would do a Czech Pils probably. But I'll probably do that second because I need to get something back on tap. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I'm open to ideas. So, but I've got, my Anvil brewing system. I did order a 5-liter flask to be able to do starters. I pretty much have, all top line equipment now, and I'm all prepared to do it. Now I just need to have time to brew. And I've got a trip coming up to Vegas this weekend for the Eagles-Raiders game. I'm going to be joining Ross, our buddy from North Carolina that comes on Beer Nuts frequently, for a trip to Denver to see the Eagles and the Broncos in the middle of November. So I'm thinking like in Thanksgiving weekend, probably a good time to brew and have some beer, brew something that'd be good for the holidays. Maybe a Scottish ale or something sessionable, like not a Scotch ale, the strong one, a more sessionable one. So that's probably what I'll do. But Chris, you have any more beers, or should I go right into?
That's all you.
Okay, well, this is kind of something I've been looking forward to for most of the afternoon after going through my cellar this morning. I picked out a Coonan 4D barrel-aged 4D old ale from 2018. I always like to read the label. It says 4th D is aged for a minimum of 9 months before being released. This ale has an intense sweet caramel malt flavor and aroma that develops into a toffee, toasted marshmallow-like character. So needs no introduction to you guys, but some of our listeners may not know about it. As a matter of fact, like I said, I'm going to gift one of these to the brewer at Tombstone, who's I'm sure will enjoy it. So I just opened it, and I can already smell that familiar smell, that malty, toffee, caramely. And I don't know, for some reason you could blindfold me and I could tell you if it was a Kunin beer. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. I'm going to pause right now because I only have one glass in front of me and it just had sour in it. I'm going to rinse. I'll be right back.
It has been a while. No glass of water to rinse out the glass?
Yeah, geez. I didn't even bring, I always bring up a glass of water up with me, and I didn't this time.
I told you guys I'm out of sorts. We haven't done one in a while.
I was the same way. You caught me red-handed. I was getting I was pouring one of these blackberry saisons, and I've got to get a couple out to you guys. I think you're really going to enjoy the hell out of this stuff.
I think you still have some Kunin for me from last year.
I do, yeah. Yeah, you might have lost the bottle. Sorry.
No, I mean, hey, before we started,
as long as you drank it and not John Golden.
No, I drank it. It was I think it was the gin. It was a Simcoe Cillier.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Oh fuck yeah, that's just a couple of them. A couple of them haven't survived well, but that one has. So yeah.
Well, I know this one has survived well, and because it smells great. So I just poured it, and it's got like a thin cola colored head on it, nice light brown. Oh my gosh, and it's just that like you can see the tiniest amount of light comes through it, and that's only because I'm holding it up to the light. It's pretty much very dark brown, and you can't really see through it other than at the top of the head. But so I shouldn't even say there's any light coming through. But man, the aroma on this thing is just malt, caramel, toffee. It's a malt bomb. So let's taste this bad boy. It's just indescribable almost that it's I've had a lot of beers in my day and I could identify this right away. I know what it is. I love it. It's got that. It doesn't have a thick mouth feel. It's a full mouth feel, but it's not like thick. It's not like mud. It's a nice, perfectly balanced here. There's it's more malt, caramel, toffee, all of that. It's everything you would want out of an old ale, which is my favorite beer style, which is probably why I love this so much. But this is probably my favorite beer from my favorite beer style. If anything, I'm surprised I'm not getting a little bit more barrel. The barrel's pretty subtle on it, but that's okay. What would be a good thing to do is probably taste this against a non-barrel age and see how they're different, because I'm sure that the barrel influence has a lot to do with the vanilla toffee components to this. But just so much complexity in it, man. It's just an amazing beer. I've always been a huge fan of it, and that's why I placed that way too large order, Doug. So it's okay that you drank a bottle or two. I got so excited after I moved here, and I could buy that online, and I was able to buy it, and Doug helped me get it, which apparently I wasn't even supposed to be able to buy it that way. But everything worked out, and I think I got like 3 more of these bad boys in my cellar, so by the time I get through those, we'll find a way to get those other beers sent my way. But
yeah, all of the 4D is intact. So yeah, I did not. There was none of those are touched or allowed to be touched. So
yeah, man, there's just so much complexity here. It's almost indescribable. Layers of caramel, vanilla, toffee, a little bit of chocolate. Gosh, it's not too thick. It's just right, man. It's just a wonderful beer. And I know sometimes we make Kunin jokes about Kunin being Kunin, and maybe some of the releases weren't planned as good as they could have gone, but nobody's going to question the quality of these liquids. The beers that they produce are amazing and special. They truly are special, and I'm so excited to give this to Weedy, our brewer at Tombstone, and because I know that he'll appreciate it just as much as I do. And Doug, I know you've had this a million times. You might as well chime in with some of your thoughts.
Well, sure, and I'm probably going to have it on Saturday. It seems to be one of those things they always find a keg or two to bring out to the beer fest. And I can remember one year we were mixing cuvée. Yeah, we were doing a cuvée with 4D, the Bourbon Barrel 4D, and the Cherry Oud Bruin.
I remember that.
And everybody thought that we were crazy until they tried it, and they're like, "Oh my God!"
That was all that. That was the year that I botched the recording.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, because we had an entire episode from that beer festival, and there was this incredible interview. I think you interviewed Eric, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so there was this incredible interview with Eric, but what happened was it had the zip recorder, and it must have been recording. So when we went to hit record, it actually stopped recording. So the recording you got was everything leading up to the interview, and then everything after the interview took place. This is like it never.
I think consumption may have been a factor.
Oh my, yeah.
I think I was pretty well in the bag when we were trying to do that, and
it was later in the day.
All things happen for a reason.
We had some incredible snippets, and I think mine are on my old phone that the screen just shattered on it, right? And I can't retrieve anything from it because I need to enter a code on the screen to do it, and it's toast. So either I'm going to bite the bullet, pay whatever it costs to have the screen fixed for a phone that I don't use so I can pull pictures and sound bites out of it, or I can just say, screw it.
Yeah, this 4D is getting more amazing with every sip. I'm getting a little bit of tobacco. Oh my gosh, man. I just poured the last of the bottle in, and I got the head recreated for a little while, and it's just slowly dissipating. And
it seems like whenever you're having 4D, you're having a good time.
Oh yeah.
And something fun's going on, and it's just, you're having a great time. And then there was that beer from that other brewery in Warren. They're triple, right? Final Absolution.
Dragon Mead,
Final Absolution. This is no slam on them whatsoever. I mean, that beer is killer, but nothing good ever happens when you drink that beer. Ever. Something bad always happens.
That's why it's called Final Absolution.
But 4D is the complete opposite.
They could make a barrel aged Final Absolution and call it Judgment Day.
But JR, you know I'm right.
No, I know. I can remember what the package looks like, and I can remember going there, and something always weird happened when we were drinking that stuff. It's a great beer.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I stay away from it for that reason. It's haunted or something. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're at episode 190 tonight. I think for episode 200, we need to talk to the Coonans and make episode number 200 the Coonan episode, because we've talked about it forever. And
they'd totally be down with it, especially on a Skype thing. And we can probably do it, a bunch of them get together on Fridays or whatever. But we could probably do it via Skype.
Whenever it needs to happen, we'll part the Red Sea for those guys. I mean, love their beers. I really miss being able to go there. Who knows? Maybe I'll fly back for that. I might have.
Yeah, they would be 100% on board for that.
So let's just declare that now. Episode 200. We have 10 to go, so 9 more before the Coonan episode. That's going to motivate us to crank out some more episodes pretty quickly here. My birthday is March 1st. Maybe we can target that time of year for that. So, all right. Well, man, it was great getting back into the swing of things.
You're having an awesome time over there. Second beer.
Oh man, I tell you what, I've been thinking about this beer all day. I really have. I'm not just fluffing things up. It's I was here cranking out emails and doing stuff for work and taking phone calls, and I guess kept looking at the clock, and I knew 6 o'clock my time was going to be, time for this. And it's been worth the wait. And, worth the wait, frankly. This is a 2018, so I drank 3 years, waited 3 years to drink it. I've got some older ones in my cellar I could have pulled out, but I don't know. I pulled this one out. It looked like the right one for tonight, and no complaints at all, man. And I'll fly back for the Coonan episode. I'll make that commitment right now. Any other things we want to talk about? I know you Doug, you're going to the Fall Beer Festival in Detroit in the Eastern Market this weekend.
Yes, I am, and I'm looking forward to that. That's it wasn't supposed to be my first beer fest since COVID lockdowns. I mean, that would have been the one in Marquette, but I had to cancel the one in Marquette, unfortunately. This will be my first one in 2 years?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be pouring at a festival in Litchfield Park, Arizona, just outside on the west side of Phoenix, at a place called Ground Control. Great tap room that also has coffee. And I will be participating in that in November 20th. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my next festival.
Cool.
I guess that about wraps it up. And I neglected to mention, I want to just read the Mango Nada can again because it'll lead into our segment going to Mexico City. So I was reading the description, which I failed to do when I was tasting the beer. Mango Nada is a tropical Mexican resort in beer form. We took the traditional goza, added an insane amount of mango, and swapped out the sea salt for Tajín to create a delicious fruity tart kettle sour. Buen provecho. So, since there was a mention of Mexico on there, if anybody doesn't have anything else to add, everybody ready to go to Mexico?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for listening. And Chris, do you even want to do your find us here, find us there thing?
Yeah, at Beer Nuts Podcast on Instagram and Twitter.
Easy enough.
Yep.
Well, as they say in old Mexico City,
AMF.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. Ask Kelley Blue Book. They named Honda their 2021 Best Value brand.
Based on 2021 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
The Honda HR-V, CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. They all have one thing in common. They never back off from a challenge. Available with all-wheel drive, the Honda SUV lineup has the performance you can count on and the capability to amaze. Ask Kelley Blue Book. They named Honda their 2021 Best Value brand.
Based on 2021 Brand Image Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
Fall is the season of gathering that brings us together with warmth and color. So whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or a special event, celebrate your friends and family with a gorgeous bouquet of roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to brighten someone's day with 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99. To get 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune in.